When a deal was announced between Sting and WWE for him to feature in their video game, the olive branch was extended and hatchets were buried and the icon finally wrestled in a WWE ring. When news broke another WCW legend, Bill Goldberg, would be involved in this year's game, many fans were hoping history would repeat itself and Goldberg would return to WWE. With the foundation set for a return on this past Monday's Raw, and Goldberg appearing back on WWE TV next week for the first time in 12 years, who would be a perfect opponent for Goldberg? I'm Ash Robertson from ManThoughts, and this is 10 superstars who could face Goldberg. Number 10, and most likely, Brock Lesnar. Ever since the Goldberg WWE 2K17 announcement, questions have been asked about a return to the ring and more importantly a rematch with arguably the company's biggest draw at the moment, Brock Lesnar. Their match at WrestleMania 20 turned out to be their last match for both in WWE, and because of this it's remembered for all the wrong reasons. Now with Lesnar back at his highest level he has ever been after his UFC tenure and slaying the Undertaker streak, and Goldberg open to a return in the ring, it could be the perfect bout and a great way for WWE to boost ratings, and what looks like a proper main event for this year's Survivor Series, and a rubber match possibly at WrestleMania. Number 9, Triple H. Sting's arrival on WWE television started a rivalry with Triple H that pitted two titans of their organisations, WCW and WWE, against each other, with Sting out for revenge for the closure of WCW. With many believing Sting should have been victorious in what turned out to be his one and only WrestleMania match, Goldberg could be the man to avenge Sting's defeat and the honour of WCW. Seeing Goldberg vs Triple H would no doubt be a big draw match, but WWE would have to tread carefully and avoid following the same script as they did before. Number 8, Rusev. With a Kurt Angle return to the WWE becoming nothing more than a dream for many fans, the ideal match for Rusev could change from the American Olympic hero to the man from Atlanta. Whilst Rusev is in the middle of a US title storyline with Roman Reigns, there's no doubt Goldberg would be the perfect match to the size and strength of the Bulgarian Brute. Whilst it wouldn't be the ideal first match back in the WWE if the Lesnar match doesn't happen, it could certainly be the place to go to keep Goldberg on TV. Number 7, Kevin Owens. There is no doubt that KO is a deserving Universal Champion, and his work has been stellar since joining WWE and debuting on the main roster. As a self-proclaimed prize fighter, there's currently no bigger prize fight than a superstar fans haven't seen in the ring for 12 years, and someone they are desperate to see. Kevin Owens vs Bill Goldberg wouldn't need to be for the Universal title to attract fans and get butts in seats. This matchup would attract the casual fans remembering Goldberg's glory days, and for the more hardcore fans who see KO as one of the top stars on the roster. Number 6, Chris Jericho. To say there's a little animosity between Goldberg and Y2J is like saying there was a little animosity between Britain and Germany in the Second World War. After Goldberg didn't want to work with him in WCW, and a scuffle when both were in WWE, it'll be interesting to see when both men are back on the same roster again. Although Chris Jericho has said in previous interviews the pair won't work together again, WWE could use their real life tension and story in a match between the two men. Number 5, Braun Strowman. Goldberg, like many superstars, has always been conscious about maintaining the believability of his character. One of the reasons he wouldn't work with Y2J was because he didn't believe fans would buy a small guy having a long match with Goldberg. That wouldn't be much of a problem with the 6'8", 385-pound monster, Braun Strowman. While Strowman is still pretty green despite going single on Raw, it wouldn't stunt his progress probably losing to Goldberg. If anything, it could help raise his profile. Whilst it wouldn't be your first choice opponent for Bill Goldberg, it would certainly be a huge contest. Number 4, Bray Wyatt. One of the real benefits of the brand split is the occasional inter-promotional match. With Goldberg seemingly coming to Raw, he could try his hand against some of the SmackDown Live talent, and the leader of the Buzzards, Bray Wyatt, would be a great place to start. Whilst his match with The Undertaker was good but not a classic, Wyatt has experience working with the older talent, and using the mind games and dark tactics that come with his character. They could provide a good distraction if Goldberg, who hasn't stepped in the ring for 12 years, is showing some rust. Number 3, Baron Corbin. Staying with SmackDown Live, if Goldberg is looking for a towering, strong competitor, Baron Corbin will make a great opponent for the former world champion. The Lone Wolf has had a mixed bag since debuting on the main roster, coasting along the pre-shows after an impressive win at the WrestleMania Andre the Giant Battle Royal. A storyline with Goldberg could give Baron Corbin more exposure and remind fans of his size and stature, and why he was brought up to the main WWE roster. Number 2, Samoa Joe. When Samoa Joe signed with the WWE, many were expecting a straight move to the main roster. Over a year later and Joe is still mixing it up on NXT with Shinsuke Nakamura. With the return of Bill Goldberg, now could be the perfect time for the Samoan submission specialist to debut on Raw or SmackDown and take on the Titan of WCW. Samoa Joe debuting on WWE's main programming and set up to face the returning Goldberg would certainly appeal to a lot of fans. And number 1, The Undertaker. It would take another video for me to tell you why this shouldn't happen, but you can never rule out anything in WWE. Bill Goldberg's only WrestleMania moment was with Lesnar at the 20th anniversary, and that was one to forget. Goldberg vs The Undertaker would certainly be a WrestleMania moment, worthy of Goldberg's career. And if the match with fellow WCW legend Sting doesn't happen, Goldberg could be the perfect replacement, even if it isn't as much as a dream match. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and tell us who you want to see Goldberg face in WWE. Until next time, I've been Ash Robertson, and this is Man Thoughts.